A man at 60 is not the same man he was at 25. He has survived battles, he has buried dreams, he has loved and perhaps lost. He has sacrificed, provided, endured. And now, when love appears again, it feels different, it feels urgent, it feels comforting, it feels like a second chance. But here is the truth most men never hear. At 60, love is no longer just about emotion. It is about legacy, it is about stability, it is about health, family, finances, and peace. And one wrong decision now can cost more than it ever did in youth. Welcome to Stoic Golden Tribe, where strong men grow wiser, not weaker. This is not a channel about bitterness. This is a channel about clarity. Here, we don't attack women, we sharpen men. And today, we're talking about something most older men are too afraid to say out loud. What really happens when you start a new relationship between 60 and 65? Not the fantasy, not the romance movie version, the reality. At this stage of life, you are no longer building from nothing. You have assets, you have adult children, you may have grandchildren, you may have retirement plans, you may have health concerns, and when you open your heart now, you are not just offering love, you are offering access. Access to your time, access to your resources, access to your peace, and if you are not careful, you may give away what took you 40 years to build in just 4 emotional months. This video is not here to scare you away from love. Love at 60 can be beautiful, it can be calm, it can be mature, it can be deeply fulfilling, but only if you understand the risks, because the stakes are no longer small. And before you fall in love at 60, there are truths you must face first. 1. The illusion of a second youth. There is something powerful that happens to a man around 60. He begins to feel time, not in panic, not in desperation, but in awareness. He sees retirement approaching, he sees old friends slowing down, he notices his body changing, he understands that life is no longer infinite. And then love appears. Maybe she is warm, maybe she admires him, maybe she makes him feel seen again, maybe she laughs at his stories. And suddenly, he doesn't feel 60, he feels 35. This is the first danger. When a man who has lived through responsibility, divorce, stress, or widowhood suddenly feels desired again, it can awaken something powerful. It feels like a second spring, like life is giving him another chance. But here is the truth. It is not youth returning. It is ego being revived. The ancient Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius warned about this. He wrote that a man must guard himself not from enemies outside, but from impulses inside, because impulses disguise themselves as hope. At 60, you are not chasing love. You are often chasing the feeling of being alive again, and that is dangerous if you don't recognize it. Many men at this age have spent decades being providers. They built homes, they paid school fees, they sacrificed dreams, they carried burdens silently. Now the children are grown, the house is quiet, the responsibilities are lighter. And when a woman enters who needs you, it feels purposeful, it feels meaningful. But be careful, there is a difference between being loved and being needed. When a relationship is built on "she needs me," it can easily become emotional dependency. And dependency at 60 is more costly than dependency at 25, because now you are risking peace, not just passion. At this stage of life, loneliness can distort judgment. A quiet house can make any companionship feel profound. A simple "good morning" text can feel like emotional salvation. But loneliness is not love, and emotional hunger can make a man ignore red flags he would have seen clearly in his younger years. He may overlook financial incompatibility, emotional instability, hidden expectations, family resistance, value differences, because he is not thinking with wisdom. He is thinking with relief. Relief from silence, relief from aging alone, relief from feeling invisible. But relief is temporary, character is permanent. The Stoics believed that emotional excitement is not truth, it is energy. Energy must be examined. Before you commit at 60, ask yourself, Am I choosing her? Or am I escaping loneliness? Am I building something peaceful? Or am I trying to feel young again? Because chasing youth will always end in disappointment. But choosing companionship with clarity can lead to stability. At 60, you don't need fireworks, you need peace. You don't need validation. You need alignment. And if your heart is rushing faster than your wisdom, pause. Because at this age, mistakes are harder to recover from. Comment below. Have you ever felt younger just because someone showed you attention? Type clarity over emotion in the comments if you believe wisdom should guide love, not loneliness. 2. The financial and legacy risks most men ignore. At 60, love is no longer just emotional. It is legal, it is financial, it is generational. When you were 25, you had little to lose. At 60, you have something most young men don't. Assets, property, retirement savings, investments, insurance policies, and perhaps most important, a legacy. And the moment you enter a new relationship, especially one that becomes marriage, everything changes. Love opens the door to legal consequences. In many countries, marriage or long-term partnership can legally entitle a spouse to shared property, retirement benefits, inheritance rights, medical decision authority. Even without malicious intent, laws can shift ownership and control in ways you may not fully understand. At 60, rebuilding wealth after a mistake is not easy. You do not have 30 more working years to recover. And if adult children are involved, tensions can rise quickly because now love is not just personal, it affects everyone. Many men underestimate this. Your children may smile in front of you, but privately worry about their inheritance, your vulnerability, whether someone is influencing your decisions. Even if the woman is genuine, the emotional friction can fracture family unity. And at 60, peace with your children is worth more than romantic excitement. You must ask, is this relationship strengthening my legacy or dividing it? The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned that wealth is not evil, but attachment without wisdom leads to suffering. Love should not blind you to practical reality. Before you combine finances, before you put someone's name on property, before you rush into remarriage, pause, consult professionals, protect your estate, clarify boundaries, because wisdom is not distrust. Wisdom is protection. At 60, you are not just a man in love, you are a steward of everything you built, and stewardship requires discipline. Comment below. Do you believe men over 60 should protect their assets before entering a serious relationship? Type, protect the legacy, if you believe wisdom must lead love. 3. The health, energy, and emotional capacity. Reality. At 60, your greatest currency is no longer money, it is energy. When you were younger, you could survive drama, you could recover from heartbreak, you could rebuild after emotional chaos. Now, peace is priceless, and the truth many men avoid is this. A new relationship requires emotional stamina. It requires patience, it requires compromise, it requires communication, it requires physical and mental presence. And not every man at 60 has the same capacity he once had. Your body is talking. Are you listening? Let's be honest. At this stage of life, health matters more. Blood pressure, stress levels, sleep quality, medical appointments, a relationship that brings anxiety, jealousy, or constant emotional tension can affect your physical well-being faster than it did in your 30s. Stress at 60 hits differently. The Stoic teacher Epictetus taught that we must control what we can and detach from what we cannot. You cannot control aging, but you can control the type of emotional environment you allow into your life. You may not have the patience for constant arguments. You may not want to explain yourself repeatedly. You may not desire emotional games. And that is not weakness, that is wisdom. At 60, you should not be proving yourself. You should be protecting your peace. Before committing, ask yourself, does this woman bring calm, or does she bring complexity? Does she reduce stress or increase it? Because love at this stage should feel steady, not exhausting. At 60, you don't need intensity, you need stability. And if a relationship drains more energy than it gives, it may cost you more than companionship is worth. Comment below. At this stage of life, what matters more to you? Passion or peace? Type peace first if you believe calm is the new strength. 4. The difference between companionship and desperation. At 60, the most dangerous thing is not love, it is fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of aging without a partner. Fear of facing silence. And fear can disguise itself as romance. There is a massive difference between choosing companionship and escaping loneliness. Companionship is calm, it is mutual, it is balanced. Desperation is urgent, it is anxious. It ignores red flags. One builds peace, the other builds regret. The hard question. Every man must ask. If this woman walked away tomorrow, would I still be whole? Or would I feel empty? A strong relationship at 60 should be an addition to your life, not your identity. You have already built a life. You have already survived storms. You are not a young man searching for direction. You are a seasoned man protecting stability. The Stoics believed a man must first master himself before attaching himself to anything external. If you cannot sit peacefully in your own company, no relationship will fix that. Choose from strength, not scarcity. Scarcity says, I don't want to be alone. Strength says, I will only accept what adds value to my peace. At 60, your standard should not decrease, it should rise, because time is no longer abundant. Every year matters, every decision matters, every emotional investment matters. Love can be beautiful at this age, but only when it is chosen with clarity, not fear. Comment below. Would you rather be alone and peaceful, or committed and stressed? Type strength over fear in the comments if you believe a man should never choose from desperation. At 60, you are not starting life. You are protecting it. You have already proven your strength. You have already survived heartbreak. You have already built something meaningful. Now the mission is not excitement. It is peace. Before you fall in love at this stage of life, remember this: you are not just offering your heart, you are offering your time, your stability, your health, your legacy, and those are sacred. Love should not destabilize a man who has already fought his wars. It should bring calm to his kingdom. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. There are men right now in their 60s making emotional decisions in silence. Share this video with a brother, a father, a friend who needs clarity, because wisdom shared is strength multiplied. And if you are a man who believes that discipline is power, that peace is strength, and that clarity must guide emotion, then subscribe to Stoic Golden Tribe. This is where men don't grow bitter, they grow sharper. Drop a comment below. What is more important to you at this stage of life, love or legacy? And remember, a wise man does not fear love. He simply chooses it carefully. Stay strong, stay disciplined.